Hey, Collin Earl here. I'm just getting prepared here for my next writing tip. One I wanted to talk about tonight is one that I've been thinking about just because I'm in the process currently. I got a book that I'm rewriting. Excuse me, I do have a cold. A book that I'm rewriting called The House of Gray. It was a successful serialized podcast on audiobooks.com. It's on iTunes. It's gotten hundreds of thousands of downloads, and it's done relatively well. Now, I'm trying to take that book, and I'm trying to change it. I'm rewriting it into volume so I can make it manageable. It's a huge book, 320,000 words, and I'm rewriting it so I can get to some of the mysteries and stuff, just to clean up the manuscript. But I'm breaking it into 50,000 word volumes, and I'm currently in the process of getting the first volume edited. So this brings me to my next writing tip. Edit your stuff, okay? I have got a good friend who will remain nameless because he actually watches my channel. I have a good friend who has a great story, great story. He's actually selling very, very well on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. He's got a couple of books out, and he gets absolutely hammered on his editing. Now, editing is important. There are two things, and I'm going to talk more about this in another video. There are two things online that get you sales, okay? When you start getting into some of the e-book stores. So we're talking exclusively to ebooks. Two things that I think that really get you sales. One is your cover art. We'll talk about cover art here in another video. Two is editing. So why edit? There's a couple of different types of edit, and editors are going to call it different things. Okay, so you just got to be familiar with the lingo. It's all the same. Edit type number one is a proofread, essentially. They're reading through to make sure that you didn't miss any grammatics, you didn't miss a period or anything like that. It's mechanics editing. It means that they're looking at the mechanical nature of your sentences to see if you don't sound like an idiot. Okay, that's part one. Two is story editing or manuscript editing or whatever the case may be. It's where the editor takes a more active role in the edit process, looking for flow, characterization, etc. Okay, so what do I recommend? I recommend that you have at least one story edit, at least one, and as many copy edits as you think you can afford. This friend of mine who is a writer is not a good technical writer. Okay, he struggles with punctuation. He's an amazing storyteller, but he struggles with punctuation. So he knows this, and so he takes the time to do a proofread edit where they're looking solely at the mechanics, a mechanical edit. He does it 3 or 4 times with different people, and in doing that, he's able to get the manuscripts clean. I have the fortunate ability to have a producer and or partner who not only writes with me but also acts as a kind of story editor. So when I was writing The House of Gray, and even as I'm getting ready to re-release it, he's there to offer his opinion. His wife offers opinion. They act as story editors, looking for just how interesting the story is. If the characters are consistent, writers have a tendency to look at things in an overflow as a whole capacity. It's hard for us to narrow in on individual scenes because it's one scene leads to another. I look at The House of Gray as an exclusive whole. It's one big book to me. And so I got to break that down into manageable pieces, and to do that properly, I got to have someone who can help me look at holes. Because when you're too close to a project, you can't see them. So I would recommend at least one story edit, and really 2 would be better, 2, even 3. Copy edits, at least 1, 2 or 3 would be better. Here's the reason, and ultimately here's the reason why. So I was talking about reviews, I was talking about copy editing, okay? They're related, and this is why. So cover art and reviews get you sales online. If you get a person to the page, they're going to look at your cover art, they're going to look at your reviews. I'm not going to talk about cover art right now, but let's talk about reviews for just 2 seconds. Reviews, there is no reason to ever get a bad review for editing purposes. Never. It's simply not necessary. There's people out there who can get it clean. And I tell you what, even if a book is free, there's lots of free books on Barnes & Noble and lots of free books on Amazon. Even if the book is free, people will notice and they'll comment on it. So it's really, really important, and that will bring down your rank, and that's never a good thing. It's really, really important to get that service done. If you have any questions or concerns or need to be pointed, people are all over the internet. There's lots of people who will freelance do it. Try to find a good one you work with, one that communicates well. Ask for some credentials. Price. Price is very, very important. I've seen expensive. I've seen upwards of $150, $200 an hour. I'm an attorney by trade, and I only charge $200 an hour. So these editors are, at least if the market takes it, then that's what they charge. The other editor that I use charges by the word, so she charges like 0.0036 cents per word for a proofread, and a little bit more, 0.006 or something, or 0.06 or something like that for per word. I just got I got the low battery sign. Per word in, I just lost my train of thought. For editing services. So I have a really good idea when I send her a manuscript how much it's going to cost. A lot of people will do by hour. I don't like it as much, but sometimes that's what you have to do. Find an editor, stick with them. They're well worth their weight in gold. It's like it's like having a financial advisor when you don't need anything about advising. It's got to be done. You Google them online if you want. I'll put a link into my editor's website. I think she's fantastic. She's a real sweetheart. Her name is Faith. But Faith might not work for you. You got to find someone that you work with. But if you're going to be an independently published author, it's something you have to do. So, writing tips by Collin, editing. As always, more information at www.collinearl.com. Links in the bottom. My book, Harmonics Rise of the Magician, is available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Check it out. Read it. House of Grace coming out soon. I'll do a whole new spiel when that comes out. Remember to get your books edited. Contact me with any questions. Thanks a lot.